Hello, hello. I hope that you guys are having a great day. And as you guys are jumping on the live stream, make sure that you say hi. Make sure that you let me know that you are here this morning on this beautiful Sunday morning. And if you're watching the replay, hello, welcome. Feel free to comment as well that you are watching the replay. And then as you guys are watching this video, I also want you to make sure that you are interacting. And if something resonates with you, give some likes, write the comment that resonated with you. If there's something that sticks out in your mind or something that you want to remember, feel free again to comment, to create a conversation around that, to even post it in the group and ask for feedback. Say, hey, you guys, I loved this point in the training. Let's create a conversation about it. Let's chat about it. So getting into day 2, and again, as you guys jump on, feel free to say hi. Feel free to say, let me know that you guys are on this morning. And also, how was your power hour? Did you guys get the challenge in? I posted the workout video. Also posted what the power hour was from yesterday, so just remember to start to do that for this next 14 days. And I know it sounds funny and you're like, I didn't really sign up for fitness or for getting up earlier or that kind of thing, but there's a reason for it, and it's because we want to start to build this energy and this momentum. And so when we can get clear in our minds, when we can raise the vibration of our body, when we can clear out energy through movement, when we can feed our mind with the good stuff through one of those personal development books, and I posted CharityMajors.com/resources, then when we can just kind of sit down and journal and pray and meditate and just clear out some stuff and clear space, that's where magic starts to happen. So that's why day 1, I wanted to make sure that it was a staple, that it was a foundation. All right, so if you think about laying the foundation for a house, you can't lay a foundation on sand. You gotta lay a foundation on rock. We're actually building a house right now, and we had to get all this engineering to make sure that all this soil engineering to make sure that the ground was strong enough, that it was made of rock, so that when we dug down, when we get the foundation in, that the house is gonna stay there, that it's not just gonna slide off the hill. So there's a reason for that, and so making sure that you are creating space, making sure that you are moving, making sure that you are filling your mind with the good stuff. This is the basic foundation of what it means to step into your purpose and to start to be intentional about it. So again, as you guys join, as you are watching the video, feel free to say hi, and we are going to get right into it. All right, day 2. So here we go, and this topic is going to, there's reasons why we're diving into this, especially right in the beginning, and the topic is fear. Dun, dun, dun. Now stick with me. This is going to be somewhat of a deeper training experience, and I want to do it right in the beginning because there are even fears that are holding you back, even just from interacting in the group, from introducing yourself, from doing a Facebook Live, from whatever, from stepping into our purpose, from meeting the person that might seem intimidating, for putting a post out on social media, for doing these different things that we will be processing through this challenge. And so I want to address fear right in the beginning, because when we bring it out into the light, it no longer is able to have a hold on us. When we name it, when we claim it, when we shine a light on it, it can no longer hide in the darkness. And here's the interesting part about fear, is that we are actually only born with 2 fears. It's the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. Every other fear gets learned throughout our life through different experiences. And what I mean by experience is how our subconscious works. So if you can think about your conscious mind as like, okay, I'm thinking about what I'm going to be saying. Oh, like, oh, that girl has a cute dress on, or oh, I'm thinking about what I need to do for work today, or what I'm going to pack for the kids' lunch, or something like that, right? So this is now your conscious thinking mind, where you are consciously thinking about stuff. Maybe you're looking at your calendar, you're writing out something, right? But now when we get into our subconscious mind, this is where these are the thoughts that kind of pop into our head. This is how our heart beats on its own, and we don't have to say beat, beat, beat. We don't have to tell our heart to beat. Our subconscious mind, it is this information that is going at any given time. And what's really amazing is that our subconscious mind can pick up on over 80,000 signals around us at any given moment. And that's actually a lot for our conscious mind to pick up on. And so it's just our subconscious mind that, it's thinking about, okay, that I recognize the color of this, or I recognize that, or I'm recognizing this person's body language, or what they're wearing, or the smell of that, or the sound of that. And we don't necessarily give a ton of thought or conscious thought to every single thing that we see around us or feel around us. So that's what our subconscious mind does. And what happens with our subconscious mind is that as we go through life, as we go through these experiences, we things get kind of attached to our subconscious mind as it comes to an emotional response. Okay, so with an emotional response, what I mean is that either the way that we perceive something, the way that we experience a life, something that happens, it's based off of our perception and how we have filtered that into our subconscious mind. So there's a really cool statue, and I forget what city it's in, but it is a statue of this big, huge elephant, and it's in the park. And there are 3 blindfolded men that are touching different parts of the elephant. So I think one of them is touching the tail, another one's touching like the trunk, and then another one is touching the stomach or something like that. And I'll make sure I'll find it and I'll post it for you guys. But this is the power of perception, because they're all touching the same thing. They're all experiencing the same thing. But because of where they're touching this elephant, they're experiencing it in a completely different way. And so they're trying to describe what it is, and none of them come to the same conclusion that it's an elephant. They all have a different perception based off of their own experience of that thing. So perception is the same way. The way that we experience life is the same way. This is why we get into whether it's misunderstandings or arguments about how something happened, about how we perceived something, about, say you were in a car accident and their story is different than the other person's story, or right, this is why we have court, because then the judge can determine, okay, this part of the story and then this part of the story, and where do we meet in the middle? Or if you have a spouse, or you've been in a relationship, or if you have siblings, or whatever that might mean, right? We all have these different stories and different perceptions. One that really works as well is depending on where you're at in the birth order of your family, it's pretty funny, because it's like, oh, the firstborn, or oh, the only child, or oh, the only girl, or oh, the only boy is the favorite, or oh, the oldest is the favorite, or oh, the youngest is the baby, right? So now even as siblings, even though we've grown up with the same parents or the same parent, experiences and how we filter things is different. And so that's what I mean by perception and experience. So keep that in mind. And as we go through life, there are different experiences that we will walk through that create emotional attachments to certain beliefs throughout our life. And again, things get attached to us subconsciously and become a belief when there is an emotional response. Some people have larger traumatic emotional responses, so something like physical, sexual, emotional abuse, and other people have multiple, and it can be one, it can be the other, it can be all of the above. It just really, really depends on you and your experience, and there's no right, there's no wrong. Understand that this is part of your experience, and so part of what we're going to be getting through within this challenge is starting to understand the patterns of what happens with these experiences, the beliefs that have been attached with these experiences, how to detach from those and insert a different positive belief from the lessons that we have pulled out of that experience. And I'll give you an example. So an experience that was still a quote unquote trauma to me, emotionally. And again, there's no right or wrong, there's no big or small, it all matters how we perceive them, and how they are attached emotionally within our subconscious. So one of the small quote unquote experiences, now looking back as an adult, I will say, of course, it's small, but at the time it was big, and it made that indentation on me. And so I was maybe 5 or 6 and at the playground, and I wanted to go play with some girls, and they didn't let me go play. They said, no, you can't come play with us. And so my 5-year-old or my 6-year-old little heart hurt, and it felt like I immediately, all of a sudden, I attached a little belief into my subconscious that I was not good enough, that I was rejected, that I didn't have what it took, that maybe I wasn't fun enough or pretty enough or smart enough to go play with them. And then this little thing, this same story started to kind of attach itself, again when I was 8, and then again when I was 10, and then again. So these are like minor little pin pricks, if you will, that can happen throughout life that create these layers of the onion that we talked about, that this little pinprick is still imprinted into all these different layers of my subconscious. And so I had to do a lot of work around, like what I'm going to teach you guys to do is to find those stories and then to release those pinpricks or those beliefs that we have attached to that story, to find the gift, to find the good thing within that lesson, to find the strength that you have gained, the perspective that you have gained, and attach that belief in that pinprick. Okay. And then it can also happen with a larger emotional experience. So for me, I experienced last year, now as a grown adult, I experienced a miscarriage. And whether or not you have experienced the loss of a child or the loss of a job or the loss of, even as kids graduate, or the loss of a spouse or the loss of a loved one. So we lost a child last year, and then I lost both my grandparents within 19 days of each other. And I was a grandma and grandpa's girl. They were some of my favorite people in the whole world, so I went through a lot of loss. And so especially during that miscarriage, I went through this deep, dark depression and spiral, and thinking that my body was broken, that I didn't have what it took. What did I do wrong? It was this whole spiral of shame, and that just I was broken, and as a woman I couldn't do what my body was made to do, which was to keep this baby safe and to grow this child and to nurture this child. And so there was a lot of that was kind of, like a big emotional experience that imprinted this experience within my subconscious. And so same thing, I had to do a lot of work about, releasing some of these beliefs that I am broken, releasing these beliefs that I didn't have what it took, and working through some of that stuff. I got a therapist, I got EMDR, which is a really great light therapy that connects both sides of your brain and gets some of those knots, our brain and all of the wiring. It can act it's kind of like if you have a knot in your muscle, that happens when we have a traumatic event or an emotional response. We kind of get a knot, and it kind of just is this little loop that plays in our brain neurology. And so anytime something triggers it, kind of like a broken record, or if there's a skip on a record or a CD, boop, like it'll always skip on that point, boop, it'll always kind of get caught up on that point, boop. And so if you have something that triggers that little boop, that can send us back into those limiting beliefs, or those spaces where we don't feel like we're good enough, and those spaces that we don't feel like we have what it takes, and the spaces that we feel shame or that we feel fear. And so that's what today is all about, is about identifying these different things, these different fears, these different beliefs that we have subconsciously throughout our life, whether it's a big or little or multiple experiences, and how we have perceived them and attached a limiting belief to us. So like I said, we are only born with two fears in our life, and they are the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. So anything else has been attached to our subconscious throughout life as we walk through it. So hopefully this is making sense. And as we start to pay attention to what our fears are, these can be things like the fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of whether it's you don't have what it takes, that you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, tall enough, short enough, smart enough, qualified enough, whatever this might mean. Or maybe you're too much, right? I know other people, I've heard the not enough stuff in my life, and I've heard the too much stuff in my life, right? You're too tall, you're too pretty, you're too smart, you're too loud, you're too quiet, you're too whatever it is. And so that is, again, that's those other people's perceptions that create that emotional response in us, that we attach those little emotional beliefs throughout our life. And so then what happens is now we get this internal monologue that starts to play in our brain. And the first step to becoming aware of this, if you're already not, this is actually called your ego mind. And so if you think back to like back in the day when you used to watch cartoons, or maybe you've seen a picture of it, is, the person standing there and they've got like the little angel and the little devil talking to them, right? So there's actually truth to that. Like we are hearing like these different voices within our head. And one of them is the ego mind, which is the quote unquote, the devil, or the negative voices that we hear. And then the other one, that angel, is that voice of truth that we hear. So whatever you believe, whether it's God, spirit, source, infinite, like that voice of truth that is inside of you, that is not necessarily, it's not the loudest voice. The ego mind is the loud voice that will, at any time in the ego's mind, the ego brain, the ego voice, it's there for survival, and it is not going to make sense half of the time, and it is not going to, and its job is to quote unquote keep us safe. But the crazy thing is that it's going to go in circles, and it's going to not make sense, and it's going to tell us the most random things to get us to not step out of our comfort zone, to keep us safe, to keep us playing small, to keep our light dimmed. And the idea of, for us to step into our purpose, is that we have to recognize the ego mind, recognize what it's telling us. We have to recognize the beliefs we're attached, right? So we can kind of follow these little lines of, like, here's an example. So you might be, and totally, trust me, I've totally felt this before as well. It's like, okay, I might be afraid to do a Facebook Live. And the quick little thought in our brain that we might, it starts easy, and it's like, oh, well, maybe you're just having a bad hair day, or, oh, like, nobody's gonna listen, right? It's, oh, maybe you're just having a bad hair day, so maybe just do it later, right? So this is kind of the surface little thing that the ego will say. And it said this to me, and I've totally listened to it, and I've totally not done live videos or posted something or talked to someone that I felt so inspired and so like that spark to say it, and it was just like, oh, well, you just got back from the gym and you're kind of sweaty, so you probably shouldn't say it. Like, wait till later until you've showered and you look better. Right, so that can be like a surface thing that is said, but when you kind of follow that trail down, it's more of actually the fear of rejection, that people are judging me, that they are going to notice that my hair is messy, that they're gonna smell my sweaty body even though it's on live video, and it trails down to my fear of rejection. Okay, So, and again, and it's from those pinpricks of not the girls not wanting to play with me, or this girl talking and gossiping about me, or this girl talking about behind my back, or this person, this coach saying that he didn't like my personality, or, okay, so it's all of these little emotional things that can lead back into this root of fear of rejection. Okay, so the idea is to start to recognize what the ego is saying, and then how we can trace that back down to the root. So imagine a tree, right? So the fruit are the little things that we're hearing in our brain, but we want to trace it down to the root and kill the root. Because if we just like pull all the fruit off or pull all the leaves off, the tree is still there, right? It still is implanted. So the idea is that we want to pull the roots, kill the roots, detach the roots of this junk, so that we can plant different trees, so that the fruit will be what we want in our life instead of what is just coming from whatever was planted. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through some of this stuff, and we're gonna start to let go of what holds us back, what keeps us playing small, and what keeps our light dimmed. And it's because healing must come before we step into our purpose. Otherwise, the fruit of our purpose is going to have the wormholes of the not enough, and it still is going to have the wormholes of the I don't have what it takes, or I'm not smart enough. And I'll tell you guys, like, even talking about this stuff, my ego brain, tells me, oh, who are you to say all of this, and and it's funny because it's like, logically, like, I've done years and years and years of study. I have a psychology degree, so it's like I have to then like rationalize with my ego brain to like actually like this and this and this and this and this, and then it kind of starts to be quiet. But I have to remind myself that who am I not to say this? Who am I not to share about this? This is not only my experience, but I have been trained in this. I've been coached in this. I have a degree in this stuff. So sometimes, like I said, our ego brain is going to tell us the most stupidest random things ever that don't even make sense. But you guys, we listen to it, and it keeps us small, and it keeps us playing safe. So this is where you are going to actually need a pen and paper, or a journal, or whatever you have easy access to. And so I'll give you just a second to go grab that if you need to. But this is going to be where we are opening up to our fears. And like I said in the beginning, this is a really, really powerful exercise, because when we shine a light in the darkness, when we put a big fat spotlight on it, the biggest thing that we're actually afraid of is either public speaking and the fear of death. And because our ego brain the job of it is to help protect us, the eventual fear that it will lead to is, but you're gonna die. And it, like I said, the ego brain is not rational. It does not make sense. And so the idea of we are diving right into our fears, and I'm going to walk you through a series of questions and steps, and that you're going to journal through live with this video as you're watching it. And the idea is that we're going to feel the fear, and I'm going to bring you back out of this experience, and you're going to realize, okay, I felt it, I didn't die. And as you feel it, it's almost like riding a bike. So the more and more that you feel it, right, the more and more that you practice riding a bike, the easier it gets, the stronger you get. Or it's like working out, right? At first, it's like you can barely do like 2 push-ups or 1 push-up, or maybe you can't even do a push-up. And then eventually it's like, okay, I did 5. Okay, I did 10. So like same thing, right? When we feel our fear, when we recognize it, when we realize what it feels like, what it smelled like, what it tastes like, the color of it, the name of it, and I'm going to walk you through this, where it comes from, where it resonates in your body, you'll be able to recognize it and be like, oh, okay, that's that fear that I attached here, here, and here in my life, and I'm not going to die, and I'm not afraid of the feeling, and I'm getting stronger and stronger. And so then the idea of doing this exercise is that it literally ingrains, again, it's an emotional response, but it ingrains in your subconscious that you're not going to die, that it's just a feeling, and that you have control over it, and that you have named it, you have brought it out into the light, and we have attached a completely different belief. Okay, so this is a really, really, really powerful exercise that one of my mentors taught me, and so I'm going to teach you guys. And so again, this is going to be opening up to your fears, and I'm just going to have a little bit of background music playing because as you journal, as you write, and I'll give you guys time to do that, I just want, it's actually there's power in the vibration of music and sound. And so this is it's just on YouTube, and it's a beat and a vibration that helps remove negative energy. Okay, and so, and we'll talk about this at a later date, but just think about like radio waves, how it's a vibration. Well, everything in life is vibration and energy, and there's really something powerful that happens with the vibration of sound. And so this is just the removal of negative energy, just with the sounds and the tones and the beats and the vibration. And so you'll, just as you're journaling, just the music will be playing in the background, and as I cue you through some of this. Again, I'm going to kind of go a little fast because I want you just to brain dump, to get out of your head, to not edit, to not make it perfect. You can scribble. It doesn't matter if it's pretty. It doesn't matter if it makes sense. It doesn't matter if there are spelling errors. You are just going to just to write, to brain dump, and to just get this stuff out. Okay. So I'm going to do a quick little prayer and just kind of just a little gratitude and meditation as we go into this space, and just really making sure that you understand that this is a sacred space, that this is a safe space for you to go here and to acknowledge your fears, to look at them, to pull them out into the light, and at the end we're going to be releasing them. Okay, so go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, and exhale with intention. Go ahead and take another big deep breath in through your nose, and exhale. I'm just going to say a little prayer to create a sacred space as you write this out and as we face fear. So God, again, for you, whatever you need to insert here. So God, source, spirits, divine guidance of the highest good and compassion. I pray that you would come and envelop this space that is being created right now. That you would just put a bubble around each and every participant. That your protection would be in this space, that as we dive into our fears, that you would bring divine guidance, that you would bring your light, that divine order would be brought, and that as we walk through this space of facing our fears and naming our fears, that you would be here holding us in divine peace and comfort and safety. Amen. Okay, so now as you get your journal and your pen and paper, again, you're going to free write, and you are not not going to edit. It doesn't have to be perfect. And like I said, I'm going to go kind of quick on this so that you don't edit, so that you don't get into the perfectionism. Okay? So the first question is, what is the fear-based story from your past that has been blocking you? Go ahead and journal. What is the fear-based story from your past that has been blocking you? Write the answer. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't matter what the page looks like, what your writing looks like, if it's even spelled right. Just brain dump. What is the fear-based story from your past that has been blocking you? Again, take a few moments. Write this out. Get that fear story out. It could be the fear of rejection. It could be based on having to achieve something to get the love of a parent. And if you aren't successful, your parents don't love you, or rejection or failure. What is the fear-based story from your past that has been blocking you? Next question. In what ways does this story hold you back from stepping into your purpose? Journal this out. In what ways does this story hold you back from stepping into your purpose? Take a couple minutes. Again, get out of your head, write it out. Feel it, write it out. You're going to have memories in your brain, flash, 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 flash. Write it out, write it out. Get it out, get it on paper. In what ways does this story hold you back from stepping into your purpose? Next question. How does fear stop you? How does this fear stop you from serving others? Get it on paper. How does this fear stop you from serving others? Next question is, how do you compare yourself to others? Again, write in the journal, how do you compare yourself to others? Again, get it out on paper. It doesn't have to be perfect. How do you compare yourself to others? Next question is, how do you judge yourself? yourself and your practice? How do you judge yourself and your practice? Again, journal it out, write it out. Doesn't matter if it's perfect or scribbled or misspelled, or even if it makes sense. It could be bullet points, it could be sentences. Just write, just get it on paper. How do you judge yourself and your practice? I'm going a little fast with these questions because I want you to not think about it. I want you just to get it out. How do you judge yourself and your practice? Good. All right, now we're going to go into this space where we are going to feel this fear. So I'm going to have you think about that fear that you are holding on to, that you just journaled about, that fear-based story from your past, what that fear has held you back from, how the fear stops you, how you compare yourself with others, and how you judge yourself. You're going to think about that fear, hold on to it. What does it feel like? Where do you feel it in your body? Where is it stored in your body? Is it in your shoulders? Is it in your back? Is it in your belly? Is it in your head? Is it in your feet? Is it in your legs? Is it in your hip region? Is it in your heart? Where does that fear live? I want you to own it. I want you to hold on to it. And I want you to feel it. And as you're sitting there with your eyes closed, feeling this, owning it, sitting in the space of this fear. If you need to cry, you can cry. Feel it fully. Remember, you are still in a safe space. You are held and protected by the angels. Go deeper. Continue to feel it. Own it. Where is it at in your body? Sit with it. Now I want you to take a big deep breath in. Exhale. Open your eyes and you're going to free write. Grab your pen and your paper again. I want you to write about this fear. What is the fear? What does it feel like? Where is it at in your body? Give it a color, give it a name, give it a gender, give it a voice. Where does it come from? What does it feel like? Just describe it however you want. You can give it a color, a name, a flavor, a voice. Just get it out onto the page. Describe it. Describe it. Describe it. When you are honest, that's where the greatest healing comes. So get real and get honest. Where does it come from? Name this fear. Where is it at in your body? Give it a color, give it a name, give it a voice. Describe it. Give it a shape. There is healing in your honesty. As you write your last sentence, finish it out a few more words. As you are describing this fear in any way that you feel like you want to. Again, there's no right or wrong. Just get it out onto the page as you finish your last sentence. Close your eyes. Breathe into that fear. Feel the feeling. If there are tears rolling down your cheek, that's okay. Let them go. Don't hold them back. Feel that feeling and feel the release and the relief that comes when you get it up and out. With your eyes closed, I want you to place your hand on your heart. Take another big deep breath in through your nose. And I want you to cannonball breath out. So breathe in. Breathe out. Cannonball breath out with intention. Breathe in. Breathe in that feeling. Cannonball out. Feel the release. One more time. Breathe in. Cannonball breath out. All the way out. Feel the release. Feel the relief of getting it up and out. Keep your eyes closed. Just offer up another prayer. So God, I just thank you for the relief and the release that happens with naming our fear and bringing it up and out. We surrender this fear and we thank you for your divine help and guidance in releasing this fear, giving divine order back to it, and bringing it back to love. Now, if you're participating in this exercise, I want you to, with your eyes closed, visualize taking that fear, how you have named it, the color, the shape, where it's at in your body. And even if you want to do this symbolically in the physical, taking that piece of paper that you have, whether you want to burn it or trash it or crumple it up, tear it up. That can be something that you do in the physical after this exercise. But right now, with your eyes closed, visualize that fear and visualize surrendering it, handing it off to the arms of love. These big, beautiful hands that have come down, that you have surrendered and handed off this fear. It is no longer yours to carry. It is no longer yours to hold. It is no longer yours to keep. And within these arms of love, this fear is being wrapped up and dissolved into a beautiful white light. feel the release. Feel the light. Feel the lightness, the relief that comes. Feel the love, feel the freedom. Feel the weightlessness that comes when you hand off the fear and the burden that is no longer yours to carry. Take one more big deep breath in. And exhale. Go ahead and open your eyes. Great job. Great job. I am so proud of you for going into your fears, for feeling them, for sitting with them, for giving it a name, and for giving it away, for the surrender, so that our job is the surrender. And the job of God, universe, spirit, source, again, fill in your name. God's job is to take it and do the divine reordering and to bring it back to love. Because everything is being worked out for our good. And it is all happening for us. And if we can start to look at the world in a way that we know that it's happening for us, to show us the strength that we have inside, then we can understand that we are to count it all as joy. That there are lessons, there are gifts, there is strength that comes in the resistance. We don't get stronger by when we're working out. We don't build muscle by sitting on the couch. We have to push through the resistance. We have to lift the weight. We have to get tired. We have to get sweaty. We have to get dirty. We have to push to get stronger. And so the hard times in our life, those little nuggets of hurt, those pinpricks of hurt that have been put into our subconscious, whether big or little, a lot, many or not, there are gifts in every single lesson. And the lessons that you have been given, the hard times that you have been given, the strength that you are going to be finding inside, and the strength that you already have inside. Those things are not there for you to keep. So when you start to understand that we can detach from these beliefs, that we can face our fears and come out alive, and we can surrender and know that everything is happening for us, for our good. The lessons that we learn are not for us to keep, but to give away. That is a powerful place to come from. I want to thank you for going through this with me. It takes courage, it takes bravery. I am so proud of you. You have what it takes. And I am honored that you have trusted me to guide you through this process with the protection of all of the angels of the highest good and compassion, and the light and the protection of God. I am so proud of you. Whew. All right, you guys. Well, that is what we have for day 2. I hope that you guys are feeling the relief, the release, and understand that because you are willing to crack this open, because you are willing to face this, there might be other feelings that come up. You might be angry, you might be confused, you might be happy, you might be sad. It's vulnerable. We're kind of stirring some stuff up. Okay? So just take some time today, journal again if you need to, go through this exercise again if you need to. I'm so, so proud of you. And if you're watching the replay, again, you are not behind. You are in perfect timing, exactly where you need to be. I'm so, so proud of you. Tomorrow's live video, I changed the time of it. It was scheduled for midday, but it's going to be a live Q&A. So as you guys have questions that come up about this, this is where we're going to do some of that live Q&A. So it's going to be tomorrow, Monday, at 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, my time, so 10 p.m. Eastern. So I know it might be a little late for some of you, but do what you can to be on there. Get your questions, go through this exercise, write down any questions. This can be anything about what we've gone over the last couple days, anything about your purpose, anything about your fears, whatever it might be. The live Q&A right here in Facebook. It's going to be awesome. And so come ready with some questions. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. I am so, so proud of you. And if you, as you do this exercise, if you want to get vulnerable and kind of share your experience within this group, I would love, love, love to hear what you experienced throughout this, either things that were released or things that you didn't even know happened in your life and where they attached themselves and how you were able to get rid of that or identify it, or if it made you angry or if it made you sad, or where these patterns have shown up in your life, how it's had you playing small, maybe how you're ready to get rid of that, release it, step up, stand out. I would love to just hear your process. So do a Facebook Live or write it out in a post in this group. Again, this is a safe place for you. This is a safe place for us. And thank each of you guys for honoring the process of this being a safe space. So I'm so, so proud of you guys. Day 2, intense, but needed and necessary, because there is healing when we bring it up and out. There is healing in our honesty. There is healing when we give it a name, when we sit with our fear and we say, you know what, I have come out alive. I know what it feels like, where it's at in my body, what it looks like, the color, the name, and it no longer has power over me because I have given it over. I have surrendered it and it is not mine anymore. So I'm so proud of you guys. Give yourself a round of applause, a pat on the back, whatever you need to do. This is a powerful exercise to start this out, and I am so, so proud of you. So congratulations. You can use this exercise as much as you need to for whatever fears you have attached in your life throughout your journey. And tomorrow, live Q&A. Come with your questions. Come ready. Proud of you guys. Have a good day.